Wow, it's hard to believe that we are in our third week of our course. That's the halfway point. Just think after this week, you'll have about half of the work for the course completed. Now that's exciting, especially for those of you who have said that this is one of your last classes before graduation. Although you're almost halfway through, there are several things I want to go over with you as you complete your work for this critical week 3. I say critical because it's the week that you do your first major speech. And I want to make sure that you fully understand how to do it well. First, I want to clarify some information on my TMC that will help you be successful. Second, I want to talk through some ideas for the speech assignment. This is an informative speech that is a demonstration or a process. And third, I want to highlight a few specific aspects of your presentation that you should be alert to for this week. So first, let's make sure you know everything that is available to you on MyTMC and Connect Lucas. I know this is a little confusing because you're working at times on MyTMC and at times on Connect Lucas. Basically, you're doing all of your homework assignments and speeches on Connect Lucas. And you're doing your outlines and self and peer critiques on MyTMC. So homework and speeches, Connect Lucas. Outlines and critiques, MyTMC. Got it? Okay, for week 3 and for all weeks, I always post under the handout section at the bottom of the page on MyTMC the feedback form I use to grade your speech. So if you're thinking, I wonder how I can score all the points on this speech, all you have to do is download that feedback form and ask yourself if you're doing everything that's on that form. You all now have at least one feedback form from me from Speech 1, and you'll soon have another one from Speech 2. So you have some good information about how to improve your grade for next time. I want to make sure all of you are seeing that feedback. So under coursework, when I've graded your speech, you'll see a little icon appear next to the assignment that looks like a little notebook and a pen. This means you have feedback from me. If you click on that assignment, you should see both a little feedback comment from me and then a feedback document that you can download and view. That document is really key. This is the feedback form that was at the bottom of each week under handouts, and this gives you information about why you received the grade you did and how to improve for next time. Be sure and look at that feedback form every time you give a speech. You also have a template for your outline that I've posted for you under week 3. I've tried to make this easy for you. I don't want you to spend a lot of time trying to figure out how to do an outline. Simply download the template I've given you, take out some of the information I have there and put in your own. Be sure to take out things like where it says main point 1 and then put your main point in a complete sentence right there. I've also posted some example outlines. I recommend that you print these out and have them kind of close by as you construct your own outline, and then you can consult them as you go. Again, I apologize that for Mini Speech 1 and Mini Speech 2, Connect Lucas was automatically giving everyone full credit for simply posting the speech. Remember, your speech is not graded until you see the feedback from me on MyTMC. I will always give you feedback. I have that issue corrected for the speeches for week 3 and the rest of the speeches, so again, sorry about that. Okay, now that you know all the tools available to you on MyTMC, let's look at the assignment for this week and talk through an example. This week, you are to do a process or a demonstration speech. Now, this is an informative speech, not a persuasive speech. So the goal is for you to understand something, well, the audience to understand something by the time your speech is over. Your goal is not to have the audience feel differently about something or agree with you about something. Understanding is the goal. Keep that in mind. My best advice is to make sure you don't pick too big of a topic. You only have 4 to 6 minutes to make sure we can learn something new in that time. Let's take the topic of a volleyball bump as an example. Now, if I was going to a volleyball clinic, the presenter might spend an entire morning or an entire day going over the different aspects of a volleyball bump, breaking it down into little small parts and incorporating practice sessions. The goal at the end of the volleyball clinic is for the participants to be able to do a volleyball bump successfully. But I only have 4 to 6 minutes for my speech. So my goal is not for people to be able to do the bump successfully. It's for them to understand 3 key aspects of the bump. So my main points are going to be, for instance, getting down low, making a flat platform with your arms, and rising up to meet the ball. I am not going to break down each of these points into every little aspect of each one. I'll keep it on the general level, and then for my support of each point, I'll talk about the importance of that point, why do you have to do each of these things, what might happen if you don't. I'm not going to break each one down into many little steps. So be careful of your topic, be careful of your goal, be careful of your main points. Okay, now we've talked about the tools that are available to you on MyTMC to help you be successful, and we've talked through an example of a topic that could work for your speech assignment. Now let's consider a few key things to focus on in your first major speech. If you did not get all the points on one of your first speeches, it's because you either did not do the basic things each speech needs to have, or you didn't do some of the additional specific requirements. So the basic things each speech must have are an introduction, and that has to have an attention device, some thoughts about why you're addressing this topic, like your experience or interest in this topic, and a preview of your main points in which you specifically say what each of your main points are. The body of your speech has to have 3 main points and support for each point. The conclusion must have a summary of your main points in which you specifically say what your main points were, and some concluding thoughts that leave us thinking about your topic. All of these have to be there to get an A. In addition, you must have the additional requirements, in this case, sources and visuals. In this case, you have to have 3 sources and at least 1 visual. You must refer to each of the sources in your presentation, and they must be listed in a bibliography at the end of your outline. The sample outlines show you how to do this. And did you know that you can access the school library from your computer at home? You can look for sources that way. If you don't know how to use the system, just call the library and the librarian will talk you through it. Finally, you must look up and talk to us and try to connect with us. You may not read off of notes to us. So let's recap. We're at the halfway point, and there's some keys to keep in mind to be successful in the course. First, you need to utilize tools available on MyTMC, like the handouts and the feedback from me about your speeches. Secondly, you need to pick a topic that you can handle in 4 to 6 minutes and not break it down into many little points. Third, you must have an intro, body, conclusion, sources, a visual, and you must look up and speak to us and try to connect with us. I know this might seem like a lot of things you have to do on your own. Download forms, look at outlines, read my feedback, but that's the nature of online courses. To do well, you have a lot of responsibility. I can provide all the information that you need to be successful, but you're the one who has to access it and utilize it. But if you do your part, you will be successful in the course and you will be a good speaker in real life. By the way, I just gave a speech that meets all the requirements we are talking about.